So you're here with Paul and Amy. This is Cocktails with Paul and Amy. Starting out 2018 correctly. What are you drinking, Paul? What are you drinking?
Beer.
I'm drinking wine. Something Diablo. It's Italian.
Yeah.
No, it's Chile. It's from Chile.
From Chile. Oh, that's good. Looks a nice red wine.
Yeah, there you go. Nice red wine. So, how are you today?
I'm really good.
How was the snow? You know I'm snowed in.
Yeah, I heard. Yes, there's a lot of snow at the moment. We don't have so much. It's just wet and windy here.
We haven't had a decent snow since 1989, and we are in love with snow for a day. Not tomorrow.
One day. That's all right.
Yeah.
If it's like in England, everything grinds to a halt.
Everything is just absolutely grinding to a halt. Bridges are closed. People are not allowed to drive. We made a stew. It's a nice stew.
That's good.
I didn't make it. I'm not a very good cook sometimes. But this particular stew is quite lovely, probably because I didn't make it.
So what are we going to talk about today?
You.
Me.
You have a lot of followers. Right. And a lot of people want to know all about you.
Right. That sounds scary.
I met you about 5 years ago, but I'm pretty sure you had a life before I met you.
I doubt it.
Why don't you tell us?
I started when I met you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I've loved being with you so much. So tell us about where you're from and a little bit about you. Oh. Because everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know all about Paul Hughes-Barlow. You're the man.
Well, I'm English. I was born in London. And my interests have always been about the spiritual dimensions of life, yoga, meditation, healing. And I got involved many years ago with an Indian man, Pundit Maharaj, and I met him on Brighton seafront. And
that name is so familiar. Maharaj, is that?
Maharaj means prince. You know, people think there's no way at the end. If it was, it'd be Maharaja, which would be king. But Pundit Maharaj, Pundit is a holy man, a priest, someone who has knowledge. There are lots of kind of pundits in India. And I spent many, many years with him. He taught me, he got me into doing readings, palmistry and tarot, and I had some many weird and wonderful experiences spiritually with him over the years. And unfortunately, he passed away. But then I found Master Pundit Joshi, and he's a he's a cousin of Pundit Maharaj. But I didn't know anything about him until after Pundit Maharaj passed away, and then he came onto the scene, and he's very different from Pundit Maharaj. Pundit Maharaj is a bit of a recluse. He didn't really want to spend much time with people, and I kind of had that mentality as well. But that's changing. Master Pundit Joshi, he's much more outgoing and living life and meeting people and socializing and everything else.
He certainly is.
And I met him.
I love him. He's the most wonderful person on the planet.
I thought that was me.
Except for you. He is so amazing. Yeah. What an amazing man he can be.
Yes, he has the ability to transform your life, to take you to places you never thought existed, and he does it in ways that you don't realize is happening. And
that's so true.
People come to him, with a particular problem or something, but actually the problem that they go to him for isn't the real benefit they can often get. and he's able to help their life in relationship-wise, health-wise, work and career. And it's about enjoying life and celebrating life and getting back all the things that you might have lost in your life for whatever reason. Sometimes you just went off in the wrong direction. A lot of people do. They think they're going the right way, but actually it's the wrong way. And until you realise that you are going the wrong way, you tend not to sort of find that track again. And sometimes you go the wrong way because of people in your life, the people who listen to your parents or someone with a strong influence, and they can be well-intentioned. It doesn't have to be a malicious kind of thing. And then there are the people who don't have your best interests at heart, and the enemies. And enemies are weird creatures. We all have them, because if you don't have an enemy, then you're not doing anything with your life. Because no one's going to do anything if you have no potential for influence or anything else. If you're a nobody, you're not going to have enemies, basically. So I've had many enemies in my life, still do, but they're great ways of teaching and learning, because they're the things that you push against to actually. I don't know if you've had that experience in your life, but it's the thing. It's not about paranoia. It's something different. It's something kind of blocking life, and you come to awareness that it might be to do with someone, and especially with Master Pundit Joshi, that awareness can become, you get a deeper insight into these things, and then you start sort of seeing other things that are going on as well. It's very hard to describe unless you experienced it. So
the term enemy is kind of used very broadly, because it may not be someone that actually would yell at you or would hurt your feelings right in front of your face. It could be something that just like a jealousy that maybe whatever reason that you don't even realize or would never even accept.
That's right. And but if you think about it, jealousy is a big problem. I knew I'd experienced a lot of jealousy in my life by going down this path, precisely because people were jealous that I was getting this inside knowledge that other people weren't. But the thing is, I mean, you get this by spending time with a pundit, and it is doing the hours. You sit with them. Sometimes they talk. Sometimes they don't say anything. Sometimes other things are going on, but there's, there is an actual dialogue in the sense of today we are going to learn about this or that, It's usually non-essential things, but there's also stuff going on as well. He's sitting there and he's,
Don't you think also that choose you don't choose pundit?
Yeah. Well, there's that saying, when the time is right, the master appears when the student's ready. But actually, you might think it's difficult to get to the point where the master turns up, but that's it. That's actually the easy bit. The hard part is when the master does appear, because they hold a mirror up to you, and they magnify your faults. They show you where your lacks are and all sorts of things. And it's if you're not prepared to face those things and be diligent and put the effort in, and it is hard work. I mean, it's hard work because
very hard work.
Because you don't know exactly what's going on, or you don't know what it is, the way you're going. You don't want to be where you are. You need to be somewhere else, but you don't know where that other place is. So you sort of stumbling in the dark, basically. And you don't get any clues.
Right.
And if you go in the right direction, it doesn't say anything. If you go in the wrong direction, it doesn't often say anything either. But maybe that's because I expect, part of this thing is that as a pundit, you're supposed to know yourself. You can't, you can't really ask anyone else. So you've got to be able to work it out for yourself anyway. And you have to be incredibly self-sufficient on this journey. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of way up there, and you're sort of way down there. But also, you can't just see yourself as just looking up all the time. You know, you actually got to sort of find ways of going, and the direct route isn't the quickest. There's a lot of patience involved in this as well, and the ability just to hang on in there, basically. I mean, you're hanging on by the tips of your fingernails, and
it reminds me of a story. It reminds me of a story you used to tell about, and I was wondering if maybe you could share this story again. Such a great story about when Pundit Maharaj was sick and he called you. I think you may put it on maybe on one of your websites or maybe in your book. I'm not sure where I read it. But he called you to come by train to be with him.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us about that story. That's a great story.
Yeah, it's a sort of, you know, I was down in Brighton. He was up in Manchester, I think, near Oldham, somewhere that way. And so on the way, because to get a train from Brighton to Manchester, you have to go through London, and you get off at Victoria, then you have to go across to Euston. And on the way, I went to a bookshop called Atlantis Bookshop. It's a very famous bookshop near the British Museum.
And, I've been there with you, right?
Is that the one? Yeah, you've been there. You met Geraldine. Geraldine.
Yeah, I met Geraldine. Yes.
Yeah, Geraldine Veskin. Yeah. Yes. So, and there's a particular book that was a very. It's a book that it's hard to get hold of, and this is like £50, and this was 30 years ago now, I guess.
Okay.
So it's kind of wrapped up in cellophane and stuff and the things, and so so I got it, 50 quid. Yeah, not many opportunities to get this book. I'll take it now. And I thought, well, I've got time on the train, to read this thing.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So that's kind of what happened. And so I went to see him, and then he kind of got ill, and I didn't know what to do, because you kind of in awe of a pundit. They're helping you. They don't want you to help them, but there comes a point where that kind of changes a little bit, and you can contribute more. So I went to the park and thought, well, what can I do? And then there's something in this book that sort of said, do this thing. So I did it, and I can't remember what it is now. It was a long time ago. And he got better. And when I went back into the book to find it, I couldn't find the paragraph that showed this. And sometimes you read in a book, and when you come back to it, it doesn't exist. Happens sometimes when you're Googling as well. You find something on Google, and you go back a week later, can't find it.
Not there.
Yeah, it's just like somehow it comes manifest for you at that moment. And it's asking the questions to bring this knowledge out, and it appears, and it works, and it happens on a more subtle levels. You can just it is. I need to do something here. There's something not right. I need to work. What can I do? And then you find it's something in your awareness comes into awareness, and then you kind of pursue it, and it transforms into something else and something else, and then you can.
So it's kind of like it goes away when you don't need it, or when once you have that knowledge, then it just kind of vanishes.
Yeah, you got the access is always there. It's whether you actually bother to look, and for most of us we don't. But I mean, this kind of in these kind of things, it's and they're very often it's the most subtlest things. You spend your time wondering if it did or didn't happen, and you get caught up in that. And there's people, wow, did I see this? Did I see that? Did you see it? Did anyone see it? That's not the way to look at it. It's you had that awareness, and then you have to go with that and see where that awareness takes you, and you learn things from it. The interesting thing,
and not to be emotional with it.
Yeah, you can't be attached to it, because what happens actually is that
you tell me that a lot. Have an interesting point of view on it.
Have an interesting point of view, and it's because there isn't a morality code. It's like in dreams. Things happen in dreams that you wouldn't do in real life. We all know these things, and it's the same kind of thing with this. And it's the thing is that those things that happen, the spiritual work is a one-off. If you find yourself in the same situation again, you do those things you tried before and they don't work, so you have to find another way. It's always like that. That's what makes it interesting, actually. You know, there isn't a repetition,
a pattern. You're right. Everything, it has to be different every time, doesn't it?
It has to be different every time, you know, and you learn something different. It's the same happens with doing tarot readings as well. It's the same 78 cards. People coming with the same issues: love, relationships, work, travel, career, and it's the same 78 tarot cards. But I find myself speaking in a different way about a similar situation I've seen many times before, but this time I'm talking about it in a different way. And it's constant, you know, I'm listening to myself talking, thinking, oh, never talked about it that way before. You know, where are you going with it? And I'm still talking. And it brings out something that people, you know, that you didn't, and it brings out something within you and within the client that they hadn't seen before. And so it's always new situations. So you never get the same old, same old. It's always different. It's always new. It's always interesting.
Always interesting. It is always interesting. And it's always interesting to talk to you. I hope we have lots more chats because we want to know all about you.
Oh my God. Everything. Oh my God. You're gonna this is gonna be
we want to know everything there is to know about Paul Hughes-Barlow.
So I think we'll have to wait for another time for that one. Yes, it's
okay.
The things. So
we look forward to it. We're going to save some of our great questions for tomorrow, and
oh my God,
wait to hear what you have to say.
I'll fortify myself. You know, mug up on the questions.
Drink your beer, Paul. Let's play Truth or Dare.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.